think we should ask the question every once in a while, why are we playing D&D? And the most common answer I see is to have fun. Now this answer is correct, to a certain degree. It's not the entire answer, because here's the thing, other things are fun. Uno is fun, so is Scrabble, Flux, League of Legends, Minecraft, Pandemic, Skyrim. All these games, not to mention activities in general, like math is amazingly fun and it's extremely rewarding for solving problems and things like that. But anyways, there are a lot of things which are fun. So if you answer the question, why do we play D&D? To have fun. You inevitably come to the question of, but yes, but why are you playing D&D then over other games? It's not that D&D is the game that provides the most fun. It provides a certain type of fun, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. One thing you do in D&D that is something that you can do in some extent in other games, but it's a big focus of D&D, is taking on the role of another person. It's fun to pretend to be somebody that can do stuff that you can't do, or maybe stuff that you do, but do better, like a lot better. That's fun. Another fun thing is to pretend to be another person. Have different flaws, desires, motivations, personality, all those things. It's fun to act as somebody who is different. It's fun to act as somebody who is different than yourself. Another thing that is fun about D&D is freedom. You have near unlimited freedom. With games like Uno, you have a certain amount of freedom with what you can and can't do, but that freedom is very limited compared to D&D. For instance, in Uno, you can try to, be very helpful, look at other people's cards and, give them the stuff they need, or give them opportunities. You can try to, be as chaotic, switching up as much as possible, handing out cards to everybody, try to make the game last as long as possible, or you can, just kind of sit quietly in the back and win the game before anybody knows that you're even a threat on the table to begin with. But you can't steal other people's cards, or turn the cards into other cards, or bake a pizza. I mean, you can do those things, it's just you're not playing Uno. There are add-ons that allow you to do those things, but there's certain things like pizza. You can't make pizza in Uno. You can make pizza and be playing Uno at the same time. But those are two different things that you're doing. Making the pizza and playing Uno are not the same activity. But there are games like, say, Minecraft, where it has a lot of... It's the game about creativity and doing what you want, building what you want. But there are things you can't do, like make a glass sword, or boil water. Now you can mod those in if you want, but one, you have to mod it, which means you have to code it and things, and those things will have limitations in and of themselves. Card games, they have rules, and with video games, they have code. You can't do anything not specified in the code. You can do things that people didn't think you could do inside the code, but you can't go outside of the code. But with D&D, the limitations on what you can do are your imagination and your DM's imagination. You can do anything you want. You can start a business, perform and woo a crowd. You can start a revolution, build up a kingdom, fight dragons, and discover ancient magics and, get very powerful with them. You can do a bunch of things, and even though they might not be covered in the rules, you have the DM, who is in charge of the rules, and can go outside of the rules, or change the rules as they see fit. So are these the reasons why we play D&D? To have fun by taking on the role of another character and having nearly unlimited freedom? Well, yes, those are reasons why we play D&D, but again, we run into the problem that other games also do this. What I just described isn't D&D specifically, it's role-playing games in general. So why do we play D&D as opposed to other role-playing games? The most common reason I see is because we were introduced to D&D first, and we bought all the books, and so let's play the game that I bought and I know. Yeah, it makes sense. But there are other reasons, specific reasons, that you'd play D&D as opposed to, say, Call of Cthulhu or Fate. One reason is to play in a fantasy setting that has things like elves and monsters and magic and swords and sort of medieval feel. Now, you can go outside of that. You can have a thing where elves aren't a race. You can have games where magic is very limited or not at all available to the players. You can have things where monsters are scarce and you're really just fighting people. other humans who are, monsters in and of themselves. But anyways, regardless of it, there's a certain feel, like style, genre, whatever it is. I can't describe it, but I'm sure you know it. There's a fantasy feel about D&D that you don't get playing Call of Cthulhu. There you get a more, human against kind of feel. Another thing about D&D is that you gain new powers when as you progress in the game. There are games like Call of Cthulhu and Cogent where your skills just get better. That's what progression is to you. Your stats increase, you get more money or things like that. But in D&D, you get new powers. If you're a fighter and you level up, you can become a battle master, which allows you to do new attacks, or you can augment your attacks by tripping people and pushing them back, pushing yourself forward, knocking them down, summoning friends to help you, and things like that. All right, you can gain new powers as you level up. And another thing is going on adventures. I said before you could start a business. You can't do that in D&D. You probably want to get third-party rules to sort of help that, or the DM can just make up the rules as they go, and both of those work fine. But D&D isn't really about running a business. You can do it, but again, other rules would be better. What D&D is about, what the rules of D&D are designed to support, to simulate, is adventures. Going into another place, whether that's a physical location or just a state of being. Like, now there's a murderer in the house. We're in the same house we've been, but now there is a murderer. The state has changed to one of fear and danger. You go into this place of danger, you overcome obstacles and challenges, and you get a reward at the end. That basic story is what D&D is about. Now, there are other games which do the same thing as D&D, and they do this thing. Like, 13th Age, I think, is a game. There's Dungeon Crawl Classic, Pathfinder, and, other editions of D&D. Do the same thing. Fantasy setting, leveling up with new powers, and going on adventures. And here's where I would comment on the differences between them and 5th edition, which is what I'm talking about. But I haven't actually played any other edition. It would be helpful, it would be interesting if I went out and discussed that, but I think we've gotten a good idea of why we play D&D specifically. As opposed to anything else. We play D&D to have fun by here we go. Taking on the role of another person, having nearly unlimited freedom, playing in a fantasy setting, gaining new powers as we play the game, and going on adventures. Okay. Is there really anything I can say? I mean, I said the thing that there was the reason that you clicked on this video. The reason why we play D&D. So there's not really anything else I get to say. Oh, watch my other videos. I can say that.